What's up everybody and welcome to the Fight Franchise and our recap and review of the main event of UFC Edmonton, where Brandon Moreno defeated Amir Albazi in a high-level flyweight matchup, which kind of has implications in the division going forward. This was Brandon Moreno coming off arguably his worst performance in recent years against Amir Albazi, who had been out due to injury and was having surgeries and operations. This could be argued, as I've seen a lot of people say online, that this is Brandon Moreno and one of his best performances. You could argue that. I think it is one of his most impressive in terms of a 5-round performance. You know, it was a 5-round shutout against Amir Albazi, who looked very slow. Not discrediting Moreno, I think this is some of the best Moreno we've ever seen. He was much more measured in his approach, pressuring forward. He wasn't as reckless as he usually is, and he put on one of his best performances. I'm going to kind of break down the fight, how it played out, and then kind of give my preview on what I want to see going forward for Moreno in the division going forward, and Albazi will kind of pair them up going forward. So let me just get up the kind of stats of the fight. So the fight took place over the 5 rounds and was kind of a shutout for Moreno, where he put on one of his best performances of his career. I think it helped Albazi look very slow and laboured out there, where in the distance and the range, using his jab, using his striking, a varied weapon of kicks and punches Moreno used out there, he could dominate Albazi on the feet, and he managed to do that on the feet, where Albazi just looked very out of it and very slow. Even his takedown attempts, quickly Moreno, just as fast as he could, either stuffed him or tried to get out the attempts and get back up, where it was successful from Moreno in that aspect. Just trying to get up the stats. So the stats looked like this by the end of the fight. Moreno had thrown 317 strikes to Albazi's 236, where Moreno landed 132 and Albazi landed 63. So in the strikes department, you know, Moreno dominated him, and it showed in the fight. He showed a varied level of striking, and it showed on Albazi's face by the end of it. He had a huge cut under his eye, where Moreno busted him up, and it was just kind of, I think a lot of us thought after he lost to Royval, Moreno was done, but I think this fight he's back on track. This was the performance he needed to get back on track, and probably an ideal kind of opponent for Moreno to fight, coming off these 2 losses to Pantoja and Royval. Albazi, you know, very slow, very laboured in the octagon, and just wasn't on his finest form. So Moreno could take advantage of that, and he most certainly did that brilliantly. There was moments in the fight, you know, I thought Albazi was going to go out, and I thought Moreno was going to get that kind of highlight KO to end the night of fights, because it was kind of a dull night of fights. There wasn't the most excitement, especially because there was a lot of decisions on the card. But yeah, varied shot selection, varied kick selection, you know, hunting and getting those shots. And this is an improved Moreno, I think. I think these 2 losses to Royval and Pantoja have sent him back to learn his lessons, because I think at the time when he fought Davidson Figueiredo and he was champion, you know, he only fought in a span of 5 fights, Figueiredo again, Kai Kara France, and then Figueiredo. I'm pretty sure it went like that. So in that span of 5 fights, you fought the same guy 4 times. You're not going to learn much. You're not going to grow much in that period of time. And when it came to face someone like Pantoja, who already had 2 wins before that over him, you know, Pantoja beats him in that fight, and then he loses to Royval again. He's kind of dejected. And I think this is now his chance to kind of build himself back up to that title shot. He doesn't deserve a title shot off this win. Unless like he takes a fight on short notice or jumps in to fight someone on the fight for the title on short notice. That is unless Kai Asakura beats Alexandre Pantoja, which I don't think he does. But if Kai Asakura loses, Brandon Moreno versus Asakura would be a fantastic matchup on the feet. I think that would be a fun striking matchup. And I think out of everyone's style in the division, you know, for Asakura, I think Moreno is a great style for Asakura to face. And I think that would be one of the most fun fights of next year if that happens. But yeah, well done to Moreno. You know, if you look at some of the significant strikes by round, that second round, 29-6, and the fifth round as well, 32-9, that fifth round where he was just piecing him up, the rolling thunder at the end, kind of just rocking him on the feet, almost got him out of there. Excellent performance by Moreno, credit to him. Unlucky for Albazi, he's had some tough personal issues going on in his life with his injuries and his surgeries. I think back to the drawing board for him, work his way back up the division. If I'm being honest, I wanted Albazi to win, not because I'm the biggest Albazi fan, just because it would have been a nice fresh matchup atop the division for, Alexandre Pantoja. I think it's a shame for some of these, champions that they don't get fresh matchups atop of the division. I think the fresh matchups in a huge broad range of names that you've beat across your title reign boasts a much better legacy, but unfortunately, it didn't play out that way. As for the rankings, they look as such, Royval is number 1, deserves that for sure. Moreno 2, Albazi's 3, I think he needs to slip a bit. Tatsuro Taira 5, Kai Kara France 4, Alex Perez 6. So going forward, if I was Moreno, I'd wait for the kind of outcome of the Asakura and Pantoja fight. I think Moreno, if Asakura loses, Moreno should fight Asakura. Or if I would actually make Tatsuro Taira versus Brandon Moreno, that would be a fun matchup as well going forward. I think he needs a fresh matchup. I think leave Alexandre Pantoja, you've lost to him enough. I don't think you really can deserve a title shot while he's in charge, unless you get like 3-4 definitive wins. And then also you've just recently got kind of beaten by Royval handedly. I don't think we should see that matchup either. So I think for Brandon Moreno going forward, pair him up with Tatsuro Taira, or pair him up with Kai Asakura if Kai Asakura loses. Because if Kai Asakura wins, I would do Kai Asakura versus Brandon Royval, who most deserves the title shot next. As for Amir Albazi, tough loss. Who would I pair him up with next? You've got Kai Kara France who's going up the division. He deserves to get that win back. That was a robbery in a sense. But I'd probably do Albazi versus like someone like Ursig or Manel Cap. Give them a chance to work up the division. Even Mateus Nicolau, get those guys the opportunity to work up the division and get that higher ranking that Albazi's got. Albazi's number 3. I think I'd probably give it to someone like Manel Cap. You could do Amir Albazi versus Tatsuro Taira, but I think Taira should skip that and go for Moreno. That's how I would kind of pitch the division. I feel like there's a bit of a logjam atop this flyweight division as guys, have beaten each other before. But yeah, that's how I would kind of play out going forward. So credit to Brandon Moreno, back to winning ways, back to kind of getting back on the horse. And you know what? Moreno's still young. I'm pretty sure. How old is he? Is he 32? Let me have a look. Brandon, no, he's not even 32. Brandon Moreno's 30. He's very young, and this is the kind of he's won the title, been in wars, and I think we all wrote him off, rightfully so, because he had a terrible performance versus Royval. But we kind of wrote him off when we shouldn't have. He's still young. He's still got a lot of hunger and still got that dog in him, and he could well and truly give us some wars. Measured Moreno, is that the new thing where he comes into these fights little less reckless like he did in the his last few fights, a bit more measured, has that measured approach and can find ways to win. So credit to him. What did you think of the main event? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Brandon Moreno should fight the loser of the main event of UFC 310 right now, or should he face Tatsuro Taira? Leave that in the comments down below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you in the next one.